Greetings and welcome students. You are on lecture number 31. So welcome, and we are still doing writing section. We are already done with our literature section, Vistas, Flamingo, and we have discussed the chapters quite in detail. For the writing section, for most part, the challenge is to practice writing. So in case you are just listening to the lecture and not really writing, it's not going to help you, because at the end of the day you have to write. You don't have to tell in the exam that how well you have understood the question. So practicing writing should be a priority. It should be a very important thing in your life. If you don't read, if you don't write, if you don't try to understand, see, this exam is checking everything. So practice writing. Don't just listen to the lecture. After you're done listening to the lecture, sit down, take a question. Like, you are children who have access to all sorts of information on the web. So just take up a sample CBSE sample paper, a sample question, and even if you write just letter to the editor, CBSE class 12th English exam questions, you will get a lot of questions from the past years, and you will get some practice writing to the editor. In the current outline given by CBSE, the choice is between job application and letter to the editor. I don't know, I think in this case most people would choose a job application. But what if you don't want to write a job application and you want to attempt letter to the editor? Or what if CBSE next year, whenever you are attempting the paper, they change the format again, they change the outline again, and they tell you that there would not be a choice. So in that case, you have to stay prepared, especially in today's time when things are so uncertain. We don't know when the exam is, how it is going to be conducted. COVID has changed and affected so much about exams and education system in India. So you are lucky. I'm lucky that I'm getting to teach. I'm very fortunate, I'm privileged that even during these difficult times, I have access to a setup where I can teach. And you are fortunate that you can, you have access to education like this. But we don't know what would be the change in the outline and when. So be prepared for whatever it is. If they have given you these topics for your syllabus, do all of them equal justice. Don't just prepare yourself for one thing because there is likely to be a choice. Changes are happening, changes are taking place very frequently in the CBSE outline, CBSE exam pattern. So we have to prepare ourselves for a letter to the editor also. Okay, why do we write letters to the editor? In my orientation lecture also I had told you very clearly that letter to the editor is something that highlights a social, cultural, local, national, global, economic, political problem or issue or some concern. So if you are the resident of an area and you see a lot of crap lying on the roads, you might write a letter to the editor highlighting the problem so that the concerned authority, see, the basic idea is that the concerned authorities help the situation. Usually that's the idea, right? If women are being misbehaved with, if they are being eve-teased in your locality and you want somebody from the authorities, local authorities to pay attention to the matter, you can write a job application, or you can write not a job application, you can write a letter to the editor, because that would be published in the newspaper, it will come in the observation and notice of a lot of people. It will have a larger appeal, it will have a larger reach to people. So this is why letter to the editor is very important. Who decides what kind of letters are published in the newspaper? What kind of articles or letters? Sometimes people don't write letter to the editor, they write an article and they send it to the editor, and the editor decides whether or not it's relevant, whether or not they should publish it. So here in this case, in CBSE exams, you have letter to the editor. But I feel questions like letter to the editor, article writing, they really check you as a person, not only in terms of your writing and expression, but also in terms of your knowledge. Because if you are not an aware citizen, if you don't read the newspapers, if you don't keep tabs on the news, like I'm not saying you get news only through newspapers. You get news via so many platforms. So what kind of news are you reading? What kind of information are you receiving? Especially in today's time when the information is mostly, there's such a lack of uniformity in information and bias is very strong. So it becomes a challenge to have your own opinion. So what's your opinion on any given matter? And if you see a problem in the society, what is the solution that you suggest? So it is checking you as a person, as a citizen, as an aware person, as an educated person. Letter to the editor and article are things that I really like to read from students, because I get to know a lot about how they think, what is the structure of thoughts for them, what kind of solutions do they think. So from the thought process point of view, writing point of view, expression point of view, an amazing question, and it will be of 5 marks, and the word limit would be 120 to 150 words. The editor decides whether or not the topic is relevant. So you could be choosing to highlight anything, but if the editor thinks that you are writing crap, it's not even an issue, it's a non-issue, the editor will not publish it in the newspaper. So it could be a note that you've written, a report, a kind of letter, an article, a short essay. The editors have, it is to the editor's discretion that whether, it is their judgment whether or not they want to publish it. Because their newspaper's reputation is also attached to it. They can't publish each and everything that you are writing. Write a letter to the editor. So we are seeing the question directly. Okay. Write a letter to the editor of National Herald, New Delhi, about water scarcity in your locality, suggesting ways to improve the situation of water supply. Your Ramnath, Reema of Ghaziabad. So they've given you the place where you are. They have told you what is your name. They have told you who you are writing the letter to, editor of this newspaper called National Herald, and you are writing to a newspaper in Delhi, in New Delhi, and the problem that you are highlighting is water scarcity, the shortage of water scarcity in your locality, suggesting ways to improve the situation. First, let's see the format. And I told you, whenever you are writing a letter in formal capacity, the same pattern is to be followed. Sender's address, date, addressee's address, subject, salutation. Okay. If you write salutation first and subject next, then also it's not a problem. You should have these things. Okay. So a lot of people get confused what to write first, subject first or salutation first. It is okay. You should have a subject and you should have a salutation. That's more important. Okay. So sender's address, date, edit, and don't leave so much gap. I've just left it for clarity, but you will just leave one line mostly. Not a strict instruction from anyone, but to maintain the the overall beauty of your write-up and clarity. Because if you have this the things jammed with into each other, then it's not very clear. So sender's address, you will write your address, your locality's address, because especially this is now in this case, especially because you're talking about a particular locality, it is even more important. So your house number, address, sender's address would be there. Then you're writing date, and you are addressing it to a person who is the editor. So you don't have to write his home address, you have to write the editor, National Herald, Delhi. Designation of the person to whom you're writing the letter and the address. And after that you would write subject. What is the subject here? In one line you have to write it very crisply. The problem of water shortage and some solutions. So you could, I don't like this particular subject very nicely, so you could be writing, you could also be adding the name of the locality. So if you mention what is the locality where the water shortage is being experienced, that would be even better, that would make it a better subject. Okay, so let's see the rest of the letter. It's in continuation on this slide. You write the salutation, sir, ma'am, sir oblique ma'am, if you are not aware of the gender of the person to whom you are writing the letter. Through the columns of your esteemed newspaper, usually this line is written, you could change it, but in a formal way if you want to. This is the usual line. Through the columns of your esteemed newspaper, your respected newspaper, your highly liked newspaper, wanted newspaper. I wish to draw attention of the concerned authorities towards the problem of water scarcity in our locality. Again, the name of the locality, see, I have taken this from the web, so it's not something that I have written personally. So you don't have to write in our locality, you could be writing the name of the locality. Names are important. In the first paragraph of your letter to the editor, don't waste the editor's time. Be specific. Say exactly what you want to say in the first 2-3 lines itself. Why are you writing the letter? You are writing the letter because you want to highlight this problem which is in this locality, like say Seemapuri or say a Connaught place or whatever place is that. You write the name of the place and you write the purpose that you want the concerned authorities to pay attention. It is still early summer, so you have specified why you are writing it, the purpose in the first paragraph. You can change paragraphs here. It is still early summer and the residents are already facing acute water shortage in the area, so the residents are clearly suffering. The supply is cut off at 8:30 am in the morning and is restored only for half an hour in the evening between 6 to 7 pm. So the only duration, and all of you would notice that all of these details were not given in the question. You are thinking about the topic. You are thinking about it like a resident of that society who is facing this problem and wants to actually bring the issue to light. So think like that. If you start thinking like that, you will find all the details yourself. They will come to your head. So the problem is that water supply is only for 1 hour in the evening, and it's a big problem. The residents are suffering. Since the timings are erratic, many people, especially the working couples, are unable to store water. Many people are not at home during 6 to 7 pm. So who stores water for them in their house if the water supply is for that short duration? Frequent complaints to the Jal board haven't yielded any result, as the authorities express their helplessness, saying that one of the tanks of the Hyderpur water treatment plant is under repair and has been shut down for a month or so, thereby affecting the water supply in the area. So this person has already contacted local authorities, but he has not gotten any help. So this detail was not given in the question. The person writing it is writing from his own imagination. So since you are writing the letter to the editor might reply to you that why are you not talking to the local authorities? Why are you writing directly to a newspaper if there is a problem? You first talk to the local authorities, maybe they will really help you out. So this person already mentions it here that I have spoken to the authorities, we have all requested, but there has been no help given. But it is nearly 1.5 months since the problem began, yet there is no respite, there is no relaxation for the residents. The Jal board should in the meantime make provisions for water tankers at different horns of the day, and also measures must be taken to expedite the repair work. So his basic request to the authorities who would be reading it, to whom this letter might reach eventually, is to make arrangements in the meantime until the problem is completely solved. So not only are you highlighting the problem, but you are also suggesting solutions to the authorities, to all the people. So whatever is the problem, you have to also give some solution to it if you are writing to the editor of a newspaper. And also it depends a lot on what the topic is, because here it's a clear-cut thing that this is the problem, water shortage, and you are writing a letter. In most questions it is like this, that they give you a problem and it is a problem for which you can actually think of solutions. So like if it is a cleanliness issue, you can talk about how the sanitation workers should be more regular, how the residents of the society can make the society cleaner. You have to give some sort of suggestion, and you thank the editor and you write yours truly and you write your name. Simple, just 2-3 paragraphs, just a basic format that you have to remember. It's not something very complicated. I am sure you've done it in class 11th also. A lot of you may have done it in class 9th, 8th, 10th as well. So just practice writing, take up different questions and start attempting them. You will understand where you are lagging. Most students, in my opinion, lag in opinion formation. not in terms of writing. They are not able to think fast and write it. So we have seen a question, we have tried solving it, we have understood the format, and now all you have to do is to take different questions, keep the format in mind and write your opinion, your opinion piece. And it would be interesting to attempt, and you would feel a lot of confidence in yourself if you attempt questions. So make sure you do that, and keep revising, keep learning. I shall meet you again for another topic from your writing skills. Until then, please take care. Thank you. Bye.